H. Here are our DFS picks for the Packers-Eagles single-game showdown. We are building around correlation, ownership leverage, and matchup context, and we will call out the news that supports ceiling outcomes. We are prioritizing Josh Jacobs as our core and primary captain. Dash rank is 100, projected 18 points at 38.8% ownership against the Eagles, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall based on opponent rank 18. He brings a steady floor with ceiling, scoring 20, 14, and 19 fantasy points in his last three, and his season average sits at 20. We expect volume and red zone work to be the engine here. This aligns with recent coverage that Green Bay expects Jacobs to play a critical role in 2025, and his track record backing up that workhorse profile is well documented, including the From Sleeping in Cars to NFL Stardom article. If you want a betting model signal, Sportsline's Anytime TD model article underscores the value of RB touchdown equity in Week 1 environments, which fits our reasoning for a Jacobs captain path. Our favorite bringback is Saquon Barkley for GPPs. He projects for 16 with 39.57% ownership and faces the Packers, who have a tough defense overall with opponent rank 9. The matchup is harder, and his game logs reflect volatility at 36, 5, and 9, but that spike tells us the ceiling is live. Multiple pieces have echoed his game-breaking impact in Philly, including Saquon is back, and the live updates noting a long TD and that he looks like the missing piece. We like Barkley more as a leverage captain in lineups that fade Jacobs, because his spike week correlates with non-Jacobs builds. At quarterback, we like Jordan Love as a top raw points play with captain viability in game stacks. He is projected 16 points, owned at 44.43%, and draws the same Eagles unit with a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. His recent outputs of 10, 31, and 13 highlight a wide distribution, which we want for showdown ceiling. The narrative support is there too. After Week 8, Love hit the MVP ladder conversation per Essentially Sports, and he followed it with more national attention in the announcement article after the Rodgers win. We stack Love with Romeo Doubs and one of Luke Musgrave or Christian Watson, and bring back with Barkley or Dallas Goedert. Romeo Doubs is our preferred Packers wide receiver pairing with Love. Dash rank 81, projection 12, ownership 31.53%, and a steady run of 16, 9, and 13 fantasy points. The Eagles remain middle of the pack overall here, and Doubs' role plus red zone involvement gives him captain viability in Love stacks. Week 3 prep notes flagged potential matchup advantages for him earlier in the season, and we still buy the rapport in this spot. We like Dallas Goedert as the primary Eagles pass-catching pivot. Dash rank 85, projected 11 points at just 19.87% ownership. His last 3 of 18, 5, and 29 show a true ceiling for showdown. The Packers have a tough defense overall, but Philly's pass-catching unit was ranked number 1 by PFF heading into camp, and that group strength with A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith often creates one-on-one leverage for Goedert in the seams. We prefer him in lineups that bet on Love doubles where Goedert is the bringback, and he is one of our favorite GPP captains for leverage. We will mix in Luke Musgrave as a value tight end in Love stacks. Projection 8 at 23.07%, ownership profiles as a reasonable mid-tier salary saver. The Tucker Kraft ACL tear reported after the Panthers game consolidates tight end routes and red zone looks, which strengthens Musgrave's floor and gives him a realistic path to a touchdown in correlated stacks. Christian Watson is a boom-bust salary relief option at $6,200. Projection 9 with 23.07% ownership, and recent scores of 8 and 13 suggest the downfield role can pay off on 1 or 2 deep shots. We use Watson most heavily in Love Captain builds for correlation. For deeper value, Emmanuel Wilson at 3,900 projects 5, with 26.23% ownership and recent outputs of 3, 12, and 3. We only deploy Wilson in lineups that fade a Jacobs captain or assume some dilution in Packers' RB touchdowns. He is more of a large field leverage dart because he directly caps Jacobs. If Matthew Golden is active, we will use him as a tournament dart at 9,600 with a projection of 7 and only 11.4% ownership. He is questionable, which creates late swap leverage, and there was preseason buzz with Jordan Love discussing him on GetUp. If he is ruled in, we will play him over similarly priced chalk to get differentiation. At kicker, both sides are viable median pieces. Brandon McManus projects 8 at 25.5% ownership with recent 8, 9, and 0. Jake Elliott projects 7 at 22.9% ownership with recent 9, 4, and 6. We prefer one kicker in builds that anticipate stalled drives. The broader media angle supports Elliott's talent profile, with coverage noting him among the league's best alongside Harrison Butker. But his recent misses also show volatility, which is fine for tournaments. Defenses are fine as secondary plays when you script a lower total or turnovers. Packers D carries 20.73% ownership with recent 4, 5, and 8. Eagles D has 18.63% ownership with recent 6, 12, and 1. We use only one defense, and rarely in lineups with a QB at captain, unless you are betting on sacks and short fields rather than passing yardage. Our captain pool and why we like it: Josh Jacobs for workload, touchdown equity, and a middle-of-the-pack defensive matchup, backed by role-based news and a top dash rank 100. Saquon Barkley for leverage against a tough defense overall with true spike potential, supported by recent reporting that he changes the dynamic of Philly's offense. Jordan Love for ceiling correlation with Doubs, and a Packers pass catcher, plus national momentum, noted in Week 8 and Week 9 media. Dallas Goedert as a low-owned leverage captain when the field over-concentrates on A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. Our core construction leans Jacobs captain with Love, Doubs, or Musgrave, and a bringback of Barkley or Goedert. We rotate Watson and a kicker for salary balance, and we use Wilson or an Eagles D sprinkle only in lineups that bet against a Jacobs smash. That is our plan for Packers-Eagles Showdown. Tell us your favorite captain tonight and which news angle you are building around.